let's talk polyvagal theory. So this is the most clinically relevant theory to my practice as a trauma therapist, and it's not something I learned in medical school. So polyvagal theory is the best explanation that I've heard of how the body responds to stress. There's three separate responses. Many of us have heard of fight and flight. That is our sympathetic nervous system, and it's the nervous system of activation. It gets the body moving. And so when we encounter something traumatic, our body is like, wow, can I run away from that? Because that's what we want to do, is we want to escape the problem. And so when humans were evolving and we were escaping natural disasters or major predators, that made sense to fight and flight away from those kinds of things. But for modern problems, the sympathetic nervous system doesn't always work. So polyvagal are the other two branches. And so poly means multiple, vagus is the vagus nerve, of which there are multiple branches. So the first branch is the nervous system of safety. So it is part of the parasympathetic nervous system. And this vagus nerve is also known, for those of us physicians and anyone who's had to study neuroanatomy, it's cranial nerve 10, and it's the one that goes up into the face, or it's the forward vagus nerve. And this nerve is in charge of a lot of facial-based sensory experiences. So some of it is the movement of our facial expression and the sound of our tone of voice, the way that our inner ear experiences other people's voice as well. So without getting into a lot of detail, you could imagine that a nerve that's going up into the face and is responsible for things like facial expression, it's one of the things that helps us co-regulate or to decide if the person in front of us is safe or not. Like, do they sound safe? Do they look safe? What does their facial expression tell me about how they're feeling and how they're looking at me? So that is the branch of the vagus system that's in charge of social engagement or connecting to others. But we have another vagus branch, which is the dorsal or the back body vagus. And it starts with the brainstem and it travels down through the chest and abdominal cavities. And this dorsal vagal system slows everything down. So you can imagine that the sympathetic system speeds it up, the dorsal vagal branch slows it down. And it's not the vagus nerve doing that, it's more dampening the sympathetic effect. This was one of the major criticisms of polyvagal theory when it was first coming out, was there was some critique about his neuroanatomy. Science evolves, so the theory has evolved, and I think it now is just a really great explanation for these three different responses that every single body has as a possibility to respond to the stress in front of us. And what I always describe as a trauma therapist is the more that we get these subconscious processes, are almost like a reflex. Definitely our autonomic or automatic nervous system is reflexive. Once we bring these subconscious processes into our conscious awareness, that gives us more agency and control over them. So learning about polyvagal theory and learning about how your body responds to stress can ultimately help you control that.